So all we had was a 300 amp Lincoln AC, straight AC stick welder. And we'd take that stick welder and crank it up to about 260, 280 amps. And we just melt through metal whenever we wanted to cut it. And then we had like a 1/4 horsepower motor, 1/3 horsepower motor with a flexible drive shaft and about a 4 or 5 inch diameter wheel on the end of it. And you just squint your eyes and just grind the hell out of those big old blobs that you made with that 300 amp welder. Well, and then heating anything small, of course, you'd fire up the forge and warm it up and bend it and stuff in the forge. But other stuff, you just about have to bend cold because we did not have a torch. Probably should have put my gloves on, but that's okay. This intense heat softened up my skin, softened up my calluses. That's not good on my jaws on my vise there, but you know what? Tools are made to use, they're not made to admire. One thing I don't admire is somebody that has tools just to have them and not to use them at all. You've been too fast. You'll rip it open on the backside. You want to give it time to stretch. That should be good enough to start out with. I'm going to go check it. For the first shot, I think it's pretty close. It's still hotter than blue blazes. So what I got to do now is I'll have to locate the center line right here and then back off half the distance of the space I want between it, and then put that back in and heat that and pull that up. But if I maintain this angle right here, it should clear the belt perfectly, as you can see. But and that'll be a butt weld on both sides. So what I got here is kind of a Rube Goldberg setup, but ain't got the hands, extra hands. Now this is just on here temporary to hold this piece here square and plumb with dead center of where that upper link will tie into. So if I put this on here, I can mark right here, dead center of this right here. I can mark right onto this A-frame, dead center, just like I did. Back 1 inch. I have to use a little bit of trigonometry, but probably not. I'm going to heat it up and bend it back here about 1 or 1 1/4 inches. I want roughly 2 1/8 to 2 1/2 inside, in between up here at the top. So I'm going to measure back off of this about 1 1/4 inches to a little less than 1 1/2 inches. And I'm going to heat that up. I'm going to bend that up to match this angle right here. It's going to bend straight up, as though that's just a straight plane. And then I'll cut that off, bore the hole. That'll be my pattern for the other side. The other side should be a carbon copy or a mirror image. And then I'll be able to grind everything down, put my bevels and stuff, butt weld everything, put my gussets in, and continue on. Experiencing technical difficulty with my vise. I gotta adjust that and tighten her up. From years of abuse, this thing here, I beat on it enough, it's kind of giving way, so I gotta be gonna have to be a little gentle with it. Either had a little going down the highway, we'll get rid of that. Sometimes you have to compensate a little bit for things wearing out. We're within 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch is good enough, as far as I'm concerned. But I got my holes marked. If these need to be extremely accurate, I go in on a milling machine, but we're going to torch these babies. They don't need to be that accurate. They probably should be, but you know what? I ain't going to do it. So we're going to fire up the torch. I had to change my tanks. Yeah, I touch up them holes with a grinder, and then see if I need to swedge them a little bit. I take a swedging punch and run over to the blacksmith anvil and beat the heck out of them, kind of swell them out just a little bit if they ain't quite big enough, but they're doggone close. Here's the old anvil from my my grandpa and then my dad's blacksmith shop. A little dark in this part of the room. That near seemed to fit okay. Check that out. I don't have to do anything to that one at all. And here's a drift punch. There's a hardy hole right here. So what you want to do is line that up with that hardy hole. I'll make sure that's, well, that there is going to go through too. Wow, I got really lucky. I am going to round that up a little bit though. Running a drift punch through there will round them up just a little bit better. That's a pretty good job for a rough opening with a torch. That's going to be fine. I'll put a 3/4 inch bolt and spacer in there, and this will be for that upper links pin, which is one like this one, or one like it. Good to go. Let's go back over there again and see what we can come up with. Try to put this thing together. That's one of the old hammers out of the blacksmith shop. I swung at a few 100,000 times, I guess, whenever I was a kid too. Beating on plowshares and splitting mauls and such. You can do. Eleven 7/8 roughly. Oh my God. 11 and 15/16. The 16th inch off. You know what that means, don't you? Not too bad, huh? Well, my son stopped by late morning today for a little bit. I spent a few hours over here. Being as how this is for him, you know, and he's rained out at work. He's a heavy equipment operator. And like he always says, he can't push dirt in the mud. So it's been raining here for a couple of days, so we had a couple hours to spend over here. So he come over, helped me fit up a few things. I had this pretty much laid out, but he helped me, you know, fit it in place, square it all up, true it up, get all the things ready, you know, to weld together. And then he actually became my video man, and actually zoomed in a couple of times, which is kind of fancy, you know, compared to what I normally do. And so at any rate, I was really appreciative of him stopping by. So it's actually looking pretty good. Let me show you what we got done. Of course, you saw us, you watched making the A-frame, or the A-frame for the 3-point, and that's all in there pretty well. It's not too awful bad. It worked out just about what I planned. Added this little pickup back here simply because we didn't want that undue strain of picking up this whole apparatus off of this front cross member. So we opted to put this on to pull it all the way back to the rear of the frame and allow us to relieve that stress on those lifting arms when we pick it up. Had to put a little, this is 1/2 inch thick material by 1.5 inches wide. I put a little hickey in that just to clear that arbor. That little hickey's not gonna create a problem at all. It's gonna be just fine. So, but at any rate, it's actually looking good. Tomorrow, I'll bring the old tractor in the shed. We'll mount this on the tractor, and we'll line this up with the right angle drive down there, and then we'll get us a measurement, and then we'll go about the business of getting material together to make us up a flat belt. And then once we get the flat belt made for it, we'll warm it up, sit there and let it run the bearings in, warm up that fresh grease, and we get ready to send it to the wood pile.